All right, everyone. Here's some more dystopian news from the UK, specifically from Brighton, where they've changed their sex ed curriculum, I guess, and their new thing is telling people, science has to be inclusive, so boys can have periods too. And I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, if I had known that, like, that would have been quite a revelation when I was younger, but never happened. I wonder why. Could it be this is a bunch of bullshit? Now, here's the thing, and as a millennial who's 30, approaching 31 now, remembering a time not that long ago, like 10, 15 years, traditionally people from the right wing of the spectrum, people who considered themselves conservative or traditional or whatever, were the ones that had more of a public spat with science or with scientists. They're like, well, evolution doesn't exist. That was a big thing back in the 90s. Still having that debate today, not quite so much anymore. Being gay is not natural and stuff like that. When science would point out that they're wrong, they'd throw a bitch fit, basically. Now it's coming mainly from the left. It's like, if you don't believe that there are 10,000 Tumblr genders, like, attack helicopter or whatever, somehow this makes you a sexist. If you're just looking at genetics, if you're looking at chromosomes and saying, well, there's really only two options. You do or do not have a Y chromosome adding its genetic content, therefore you are or are not male, making you female, of course, if it's two X's. Most other disorders, which is what they legitimately are, fit in there, like XXY. It's still a dude. It's just a dude who has certain feminizing characteristics. X0, Turner syndrome. Still a female, just happens to be sterile because cannot donate the proper genetic material to offspring. Still male and female. Still fits into that dichotomy, which is very much real. The left, though, wants to take the social concept of gender expression and overlap that and subjugate science to it. The problem being, can we subjugate genetics to human opinion, or is it on its own very much real? For instance, let's say humans were unsophisticated. We're back in the cave people days. We barely got fire, maybe wooden clubs, flint, and that's basically it. Maybe we've invented the bow and arrow, or the, what's it called, the atlatl, or that little thing with the leather strap on the back, and you can, like, throw a little wooden spear. Let's say we're in that era. People don't have any comprehension of genetics. They can't see cells. They don't understand germs. They think you get sick because of a miasmus or demons or something. They don't understand much of anything. They've barely developed the ability to brew, to ferment things for preservation purposes, and because it feels good and adds to their spiritual development. Are there still genes? Yes. Do they still operate on the same basis scientifically, the objective principles of genetics? Yes. Humans don't have to understand them. They don't have to be able to form philosophical opinions beyond point and grunt. It's still there. So for them to say, well, boys can have periods, no, they can't. Not in the sense that you would normally consider a period. Now, they do talk about, there is one thing, they talk about like male periods in the sense of men go through hormonal changes on basically the same sort of a vaguely lunar schedule. Okay, maybe, but the idea that you have to offer like tampons or something to young males, that's kind of a little bit freaky to me. That's a little bit dystopian and odd to me. It's like Ministry of Truth mode, like 1984. It's simply not reality. No. I suppose if you punch yourself in the bladder a couple times, you can sort of simulate a period for a while. I don't know why you'd want to, but I don't know. I guess they'll be doing that. They're going to develop artificial period implants or something, I'm sure, because they have like those fake dicks for women and stuff like that. And I don't mean the. Never mind. They have developed stuff like that. Why not? I'm sure someone will develop it any day now for certain people who are like transgendered. And don't get me, I don't care if someone's transgendered. I don't care how they dress. I don't care how they screw, who they screw. That stuff is passé to me. As a non-moralist, I don't fucking care. But the idea of deciding that science is no longer consequential, that it shouldn't be taught in an objective way, that to render everything to the subjective, to the realm of humanity, as opposed to the realm of, hey, there are certain things, we may not like it, but it's just the way it is. Like, this is like saying, like, for political reasons, we're not going to talk, disease isn't allowed to exist anymore, because certain diseases are endemic in parts of the world that happen to be, that have more people of other ethnicities or something, would say the British or something. Well, that doesn't mean the disease has gone away, it just means that you've decided to go 100% fucking wrong think, and you've decided, hey, there are inconvenient facts about life we don't want to acknowledge because we don't want to have those moral conversations. We're trying to develop a better Superman kind or something, as a little bit odd and again dystopian and frightening. We're trying to build a better reality, so we're going to basically stop even acknowledging parts of reality that don't fit in with our worldview. That's a very dangerous thing. You know, there have been groups that have done that before. They killed millions and millions of people. Yeah, the National Socialists used to do this. Oh, here's sort of the Aryan origin story and stuff, and it was like, you know, kind of pseudo-scientific. Or communism. Communism even more notably having, you know, many times the death toll as even Adolf himself. Communism basically says, well, I'm going to pretend that certain things don't exist. The natural inclination of man to compete, we're not going to acknowledge that. It's bad, it's wrong, it doesn't fit in with our worldview, our cultural, philosophical worldview, so that's not allowed anymore. You're not allowed to compete in the normal sense. And of course they reintroduce it very quickly because they realize even the rich get screwed under such a system, except for the military heads. No, that's social Marxism 101, I suppose. It really is. I mean, it is applied Marxism when you're talking about stuff like this. Biology doesn't matter. Genetics doesn't matter. What's next? Physics doesn't matter. Gravity is evil and racist, and gravity fat shames people. Don't worry, you're as light as you think you are. No, scales are totally wrong. Like, you know, fuck mathematics and stuff. I expect them to do that. They're already trying to erode people's concept of health. Oh, no, it's okay if you're like 500 pounds. Yeah, no, it's the thin person's inside you or something. No, it's not healthy. There are certain elements of the tolerance movement that make sense. It's like, accept people, some people, you know, maybe this person has a genetic problem, that's why they're heavy, okay. But to tell someone who doesn't have that excuse, say, oh, it's okay, you know, you've had 5 coronaries, but clearly there's no problem here, you're beautiful at any size. That's a way to get someone to kill themselves. That's not a good thing to do. I would say that is morally incorrect. There are people, though, that I guess take up the opposite. Now they're saying, well, people of any gender can have a period, including people who are born male. No, you can't. Again, you can simulate it with a ketchup packet maybe or something, but I don't know. Some people have some weird ideas. That's about all. Peace out.